Dear viewers, this is part 2 of the series for NRIs who are shifting back to India permanently. In this episode, I am going to talk to you about the specific things that you need to do in your country of residence. This is NRI Money Clinic for you, and I am Dr. Chandrakant Bhatt, investment consultant and a financial planner.
NRI Money Clinic. No hype, just the right advice.
Once you decide to go back to India for whatever the reason, be it a planned exit or an unplanned exit, the first thing is you have to fix up an appointment with your HR department. There are a lot of things you need to discuss at the HR level. What are the things that you need to discuss at HR level? The first thing that you have to discuss with your HR is what happens to your visa. When you decide to quit your job, when will the visa get cancelled? Once the visa gets cancelled, how much time do you have to exit the country? Will they give 7 days, 30 days, 3 months? And what is the arrangements during that particular period? Your visa may also involve dependents visa. You have a visa because of the job and you are dependent, your wife, children, or you may have a maid on your visa. You should also check what happens to them, what is the rules applicable to them as well. There is another issue which you need to consider here. Once your office cancels your visa and you are exiting the country after a certain period of time, 7 days, 30 days, whatever it is, what happens to your medical bills in case if you fall sick, if there is a medical emergency, if something untoward happened, how will that be covered? Will your medical expenses still be covered by your office, or you have to make parallel arrangements to buy some medical insurance during that particular period? Don't do this mistake of staying in a foreign country without having a proper medical cover. You need to check all these things with your HR department. There are many other things you need to check from your HR department. One of the things that you need to discuss is, will you have any restriction to pursue any other employment opportunities in the country where you are staying? If your exit is an unplanned exit, you lost a job and because of which you are planning to go back, you may also rethink, if I get another opportunity, I may decide to stay back here. You should check from your HR, do they have any objection if you have to stay back because of another job offer that you may get. Some companies may create problems for you. They may not allow you to join a competitor or give any other service. This has to be explicitly discussed with your HR department. Another important thing that you need to discuss with your HR department is your bank accounts. The chances are that your bank account is attached to your office as a salary account. There could be restrictions or an intimation may be required from your HR department to delink this bank account because of personal loans, or you may be having liabilities in the bank. A formal request may need to be given by your HR department to delink your bank account from your salary account. Please check this from your HR department. And before you leave, you also need to collect experience certificate from your HR department. The experience certificate becomes very important just in case if you want to pursue another job in the same country, or if you decide to go to some other country or pursue a job anywhere else. So please don't forget to collect experience certificate from your present employer. Another thing that you have to discuss with your HR department is your end of service benefit. You would have been working in this company for many years. Obviously, you should get your gratuity, or there could be some other end of service benefit, like you would have contributed for some retirement benefits and things like that. Check from them how much money you are likely to get and how will it get transferred to your accounts once you quit the job. Are there any conditions attached to it? Are there any restrictions to it? And what is the procedure to be followed by you? Now, if your intention is to transfer this money to India, then please instruct HR department clearly to directly transfer to one of your accounts in India than paying it in your own country of residence. Or if your intention is that you need some money in your home country now, to clear some of the liabilities which are still not settled down, then instruct clearly HR department how much money has to be paid to the bank account where you are residing and how much money that needs to be paid to your banks in India. One another thing you need to check from your HR department is, are you eligible for any allowances for relocating to India? Some of the companies have system in place where they pay shifting allowance. If your company also has this policy in place, you can check from them how much money you might get for as a shifting allowance. After all these things are done, a day would come when you will be quitting your job. When this day comes, make sure you collect your relieving letter from your employer. It's a proof that you have quit that job and you have no liabilities to that institution. I suggest you one more thing. Before you leave your organization, ask your HR department to give you an income certificate. An income certificate mentioning what has been the amount of money you have earned in this organization over certain number of years. You can collect it as yearly income certificate. If they don't give that to you, at least you can keep proof of your income as your pay slips. Collect them and preserve them. Do not destroy them. This will come handy to you when you go back to India, and if there are income tax queries for you, then this will help you to prove what was the income that you are getting during your stay outside of country as an NRI. The next place where you should go is your bank branch. You may have one bank dealing or you may have dealings with multiple banks. You need to go to every bank where you have a dealing. When you go to that branch, what are the questions that you need to ask them? The first is, you decide whether you want to keep this account or you have to close this account. In most countries, if you don't live there, there is no provision for you to keep your account active. If you have to keep your account active, you have to prove to them why you have to keep that account active. For example, if you have purchased a property in one country and you are liable to get some rentals from that particular thing, then you have to tell the bank, look, I have a property here. That is the reason why I have to keep this account active. If bank gets convinced about it, they may permit you to keep the accounts. Otherwise, the bank will say you need to close the accounts. What I would suggest is, if you have a need to keep at least one of the bank account active for whatever the needs that you might have, keep only one bank account active. If you have multiple bank accounts in the country of your residence, make sure that you close all other bank accounts and keep only one account active. This simplifies your work. Before you close these bank accounts, make sure that you cancel all the standing instructions you have issued for making payments to different agencies from this banking account. Maybe you are paying to your insurance policy as a standing instruction from that account, or some EMIs could have been going from these bank accounts. All the standing instructions which are there on that account have to be cancelled, or an alternate arrangements have to be made for clearing liabilities against those standing instructions. The next thing that you have to do in the bank branch is cancel all your credit cards. It is a must do step. Do not keep any credit cards active when you leave that country. You do this exercise well ahead of time. Before you leave this country, you should receive one credit card statement which mentions that this account is closed, or at least collect a no due certificate from the branch against this credit card. Some credit cards will have annual fee. If you have not cancelled this credit card, the credit card company may continue to charge you this annual fee, and it may accumulate interest after interest, and that can become an unpleasant situation for you after you leave this country. Another relationship that you may have in the bank is for the loans that you would have taken. You would have taken a personal loan, you would have taken an auto loan, you could have taken a mortgage loan. An ideal situation is you close all these loans before you leave the country. And once you clear this loan, collect a no due certificate. Also, make sure that you cancel the lien that is marked on these assets for the bank loan that you have taken, and cancel the lien against your car or a property once you clear this particular loan. There could be a chance wherein which you are not in a position to clear all the liability before you leave the country. For example, if you have a mortgage loan and it is running for 20-25 years and you may not have the resources to clear this loan. In such a case, you have to convince your bankers how do you intend to clear this loan over a period of time. You would have rented this property and the rentals are sufficient enough to pay the EMIs. Please convince the bank that you are getting the rentals against this property and ask them to adjust this rentals that you receive against the liability that you have for this mortgage. Or you may decide to use a portion of your end of service benefit to clear this particular liability. Inform the bank, convince them what you intend to do, and make sure that you don't leave anything not cleared from a banking perspective against your loans. One another very important thing that you have to do in your bank branch is collect all your account statements. When I say account statements for your loans, account statement of your transactions, and collect it for as many years as possible. Normally, when you go back to India, income tax department will not ask you for more than 6 or 7 years of income proof. There is one client of mine who went from Dubai and settled back in India, and he was asked with 16 years of income proof in Dubai. I was shocked, and the income tax department was thinking that he has brought money from India and bought properties here. Once your account gets closed, it may become difficult to get an account statement. What I suggest is, to be safer, collect your account statement for as many number of years as possible before you close the account. Get banker signature, maintain a proof of all these things in your files. Dear viewers, this completes part 2 of this series. In the part 3, I will discuss rest of the issues. How you have to deal with your assets in the country of residence. How do you have to deal with taxation issues? How you have to deal with the rental agreements that you might have. These are the things I am going to discuss in part 3. That will come in my next video. Dear viewers, if the topic that I discussed today was useful to you, please give me a thumbs up. If you are watching this program for the first time, or if you are yet to subscribe for this channel, please press the subscribe button and press the bell icon. Do not forget to share this video with your friends and relatives. Thank you very much for watching this episode. I will be back with you with part 3 of this series very soon. Jai Hind.
Press the bell icon for more details and subscribe our channel.